what was it like transitioning? So was this a conversation you guys were having for a long time? Like someday we're going to own this, or did she come to you? Did you go to her? What did it look like?
Yeah. So I think there was, again, we reached this point like kind of the same way we did when I had left the first time and Krista was kind of planning on getting her MBA. So you do reach this point of growth where you need to make a choice. And so Krista and I had both reached that point. At this time, I had become the general manager, and she was in charge of all the events, by herself. Sales. And I was pregnant with my second child, and I had an older one, and then she had 3. So we had 4 children already, and I was pregnant with my second. So we came to this point where we were like, we don't want to be stay-at-home moms. That wasn't our path. That wasn't our path. But that being said, we were in a transition period. Mm-hmm. And so we had to have some really hard conversations like, are we going to leave and start our own business, start our own restaurant? What would that look like? We kind of played that scenario out.
Right. So at this point, you guys already realized that you're going to be partners.
I think we had always kind of talked about things we could do together without knowing we were going to be business partners.
It's true. I mean,
it was like, if we did this, what would it look like?
Looking back, just at any conversational piece that we would have, it always involved each other, no matter what. Actually, I think it really did. So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
It was
I feel like there was no question that we weren't going to be partners.
It wasn't even a conversation.
Yeah. It wasn't like a question like, do you want to do this with me? It was kind of like, we're doing this all together.
And actually, like, we had made the decision, if we didn't do it together, we weren't going to do it.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah, that was a conversation we had. Like, unless we came and we had to come to this decision on our own, but if it didn't match, we weren't going to do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what did the conversation look like? When did this reality look like it would even be a reality?
Well, so Caitlin had come back from maternity leave, I think.
Yeah.
And we were finally at the point where we're like, we really need to have a talk with Debbie about what our future could look like and what our plans were.
Okay.
And so it was like, okay, so we either...
Because she had dropped some hints that she was kind of getting tired. Mm-hmm. So there was like this kind of like... feeling that
almost
there was a
years.
Transition. There was like a feeling in the air that something was going to happen. So it was just a matter of which one of us was going to like be the people to like say let's do this.
Were there other people that were in the organization jockeying for ownership?
So there wasn't that anybody came to her for.
Okay.
That being said, there was some instances where people were like, well, you could have offered it to me.
So we started the conversation as far as what it would look like to take ownership, and we really did our due diligence.
You said we started the conversation, the two of you or all three of
us and Debbie,
and
okay.
So
we
all
started
three of us.
Well, I think there's another lesson to be learned before just diving into that. You pointed out that other people would have been interested if they had known that it was for sale.
That's probably true.
But good on you for letting the universe know that you wanted it. If you want something in life,
you have to
you
say
gotta
it.
let it be known, because people don't know. And
that's so true.
Yeah,
such a good lesson in life,
like
right
such
there.
A lesson in life.
Like if you want it, like
you have to take responsibility for your life and your happiness and where you want to go. You can't just expect somebody to read your mind and say, "Oh, those girls have been working for me for a long time. They must want to buy it."
Yeah,
because we might not want it have, and she's not going to approach us, or you just don't know what you don't know.
And you gotta want it to be successful in this industry. So from Debbie's perspective, like, she's not going to sell it to somebody who doesn't
it's her baby.
Exactly.
It's her baby.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
So we did our due diligence. It took about 2 years, or just shy of 2 years. We took about a year to research what it would look like to make a purchase and how we'd go about purchasing a business and all the different forms that we could become a company. And
what the value was. We ended up having, then
and doing an evaluation.
And then at that point, you do have to. It gets kind of interesting because you're friends, and you've been working together for a long time. But then you kind of have to draw this line. Then we had to draw a business line and kind of get legal representation so that you had to take the emotion out of it, which is super hard
because it's emotional.
It's emotional for all parties involved. This space, I'm not saying for every space, but for somebody that creates a restaurant from the ground up and it's their baby, and and they've been through all of the feels with it, and we've been with them for a long time, and you have an emotional connection with each other, you have an emotional connection to the restaurant, and you have to take that all out,
and you still have to show your job.
Yeah. And so then it becomes this business transaction, and then so then you still are showing up every day doing your job and like playing this role like you're not having this business transaction. And nobody also knew. We kind of did it. That was the other thing is that she didn't tell it to she wanted to make sure that this was something that was really going to be a solid before announcing it.
Yeah, because if it didn't go through for whatever reason, it's going to create tension.
Yes.
So keep it between the three of us, and then when we have papers signed, and the transaction's about to be made, then announce it.
So we did sign a non-disclosure agreement. As we were going through the process. Props to Debbie for bringing in legal representation that we all knew.
Yeah,
we
it was
all
great.
knew this
great
person.
relationship with the legal representation.
I'm happy you guys got right into that because I was definitely going to ask about how the transition went down, what things you did. So can you get a little bringing a lawyer in, right? But can you be specific as to what exactly you had the lawyer do?
So let me set this down. There was a lot of attorneys. So we had an attorney, and we were working with an accountant, and we were also working with an advisor who does a lot of like restaurant industry
transactions.
What would you say? He's a consultant.
Yeah, he's a consultant.
Okay. So we had 3 people in our corner that we were really working with in terms of figuring out how this could work, different ways to get money in to pay for it and all that stuff. And then she also had representation and an accountant. And then we had the third party that was the in-between for both, another lawyer that
kind of like our liaison.
Was a liaison.
Yeah,
That's a good
and
way to
so
put
he
it.
was just a neutral party. So that being said, so we had
3 lawyers.
Yes,
there were 3 attorneys.
There was 3 attorneys, and so we each had our own side working on the numbers. So that being said, that's kind of like what the valuation of the restaurant would be.
Okay,
and it's really interesting to see what an actual valuation of a restaurant would be, or any business. You know what I mean?
How close were the evaluations?
Well, they started in different spaces, and then we came to an agreement. And one of the things that we were told by some friends who had purchased other businesses is like both parties need to be really happy with it for it to succeed.
Yeah.
And so we knew it would take some time to really find that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so so that's like, so when we had the liaison, that's exactly what would happen is that he would come with basically what what everything, the valuation that she thought. We would take it back to our attorney, go through it and make some changes, that kind of thing. So it was like a very it's a long process. It was a long process, but worth every moment, because in the end, both parties, I think
we were all very happy with where it ended up. And one of the big things for me was ensuring that I wasn't like, when I came into this part of it, it wasn't just like a purchase from the heart, that there was also some information behind it. Like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
This is worth it. We are going to find our success, and we will be able to pay this off.